The world of celebrity breakups is no stranger to drama, but few cases have spiraled as publicly and intensely as the ongoing custody war between rapper DDG and singer-actress Halle Bailey. What began as a high-profile romance quickly unraveled into a tangled mess of legal filings, social media outbursts, and disturbing allegations, all while their infant son, Halle, remains at the center of the storm. As both sides accuse each other of abuse, mental instability, and manipulation, the situation has reached a boiling point, raising serious questions about privacy, parenting, and the devastating impact of public feuds on a child caught in the middle. In a shocking move, DDG recently filed an emergency court motion to stop Halle from taking their 17-month-old son out of the country. According to court documents, Halle had made plans to fly to Italy on Saturday with Halle for work-related reasons. But DDG, whose real name is Daryl Dwayne Granberry Jr., insisted this trip posed an unacceptable risk. In his filing, he claimed that Halle is mentally unwell and emotionally unstable, asserting that she poses a serious psychological threat to both herself and their son. He argued that allowing her to travel internationally would effectively remove Halle from the court's jurisdiction and leave the child vulnerable without legal protections or emergency resources. The language used in DDG's emergency motion paints a bleak portrait of his ex-partner. He alleges that Halle has exhibited troubling behavior, referencing several incidents from their past. One of the most alarming claims centers around an event when Halle, who was pregnant at the time, allegedly took his firearm and left the house without telling him where she was going. When he eventually found her, he claims she was sitting outside, visibly distressed, still holding the weapon. He uses this incident as an example of what he describes as her lack of emotional stability and sound judgment, especially when caring for their son. DDG also brought up another incident from early in Halle's pregnancy. He alleges that she contemplated getting an abortion without informing him and only changed her mind at the last moment. He considers this decision-making process a red flag, indicative of an unstable mindset. Perhaps most heartbreaking are the text messages he claims to have received from Halle just 2 months after Halle was born. According to DDG, Halle sent him suicidal messages, even hinting that their infant son might also be in danger. These messages, he says, shook him to the core, and they now form the foundation of his legal plea to keep Halle within U.S. borders. In response, Halle Bailey quickly filed her own court documents. She's asking the court to allow her to travel abroad with Halle for work commitments and has issued a request for a protective order barring DDG, his friends, and family from discussing her, their child, or the custody situation on social media. Her request is likely a response to DDG's tendency to air their personal issues publicly, something he's done multiple times, including via music, live streams, and emotional video rants. Halle insists that these public statements have led to harassment and threats from DDG's massive online following, making an already difficult situation more dangerous for both her and their son. And there's plenty of evidence to support her concerns. DDG has been outspoken online about the breakdown of their co-parenting relationship. He has repeatedly claimed that he's being denied access to Halle, lamenting in videos that he's being treated like a stranger in his own child's life. In one now viral clip, he said, "I just want to see my son. That's it. I think the nanny gets treated better than me." Fans quickly rallied behind him, creating the hashtag #FreeHalle, which trended across platforms as viewers sympathized with his plight. To further vent his emotions, DDG released a song titled "Don't Take My Son," in which he rapped, "Don't take my son because he's all I got. I'm just having fun. I don't love these thoughts." The song became a lightning rod for debate, with some praising his honesty and others criticizing the use of their custody battle as lyrical content. However, just days after his emotional appeals, DDG posted a more measured video on X. "I talked to my son this morning," he said. "Y'all can stop your think pieces now. Halle is free, y'all." Whether this was genuine relief or a PR move to diffuse the backlash is unclear, but it did little to quell the escalating legal drama. Halle, meanwhile, took a different approach, less public, more legal. In newly released court documents, she made her own disturbing allegations. According to Halle, during one altercation in their vehicle, DDG grabbed her and slammed her into the steering wheel, chipping her tooth. She provided photos of her injuries, including visible bruises. She described the event as violent and traumatic, part of what she says has become a pattern of aggression and abuse. But DDG tells a very different story. He says that he had gone to pick up Halle for scheduled time together when Hal jumped into the back seat of his car and demanded they create a formal parenting schedule. When he refused to engage, he claims she became physically aggressive and tried to hit him. In his version, the chipped tooth happened when she accidentally hit her head on the steering wheel. He also shared a photo of a bleeding hand, which he claims Hal caused during their scuffle. The drama didn't end there. Hal alleges that DDG later entered her home without permission. Once inside, she says he went into her bedroom, took a photo of her empty bed, and sent it to her with the caption, "Now I know what you've been on lol." She interpreted this message as an accusation, a suggestion that she was sleeping with other men, and felt violated and threatened by his invasion of her privacy. A few days later, she says he returned again, became verbally abusive, took her phone and threw it out of his car window while yelling, "Go get it," but asterisk. That final incident prompted her to file a police report and seek a restraining order. The judge ultimately sided with Hal, at least temporarily. A domestic violence restraining order was issued against DDG, requiring him to stay at least 100 yards away from Hal. The court also prohibited him from discussing her or their son on social media and barred him from possessing any weapons. These rulings signaled the court's concern about the toxic environment between the two and the potential impact on their child. Yet, even with legal constraints in place, DDG has continued to make subtle references to the situation. In a recent YouTube video, he became emotional, breaking down as he described how the court's orders have impacted his life. He claimed that he's being silenced unfairly and that his intentions have always been to be a present, loving father. Still, critics say his repeated use of social media, music, and content creation to air grievances is manipulative and harmful, particularly when a child's well-being is on the line. This case has captivated fans and followers, many of whom are split on who to support. Some viewed DDG as a father being unfairly alienated from his son. Others see Hal as a mother trying to protect herself and her child from emotional and potentially physical harm. Regardless of which side people take, the universal concern is the same: baby Halle. With both parents now fighting for control through court motions, restraining orders, and media narratives, it's clear that this isn't just a celebrity drama. It's a real, painful family crisis playing out on a public stage. Despite having seemingly moved on to new relationships, DDG and Hal remain locked in a toxic dynamic rooted in mistrust, resentment, and trauma. The question now is whether either of them can take the steps necessary to de-escalate and prioritize their son's needs over their own emotional battles. So far, the signs aren't promising. The co-parenting relationship is fractured, and unless something changes dramatically, the courts will likely have to step in and make long-term custody decisions that neither parent may be happy with. As this legal saga continues to unfold, one thing is clear: the stakes couldn't be higher. This is more than a battle over visitation or vacations. This is a fight for parental identity, mental health credibility, and the future of a child who didn't ask for any of this. The pain on both sides is evident, but unless DDG and Halle Bailey find a path toward peaceful communication and mutual respect, it's Halle who stands to lose the most. So what do you think? Are both parents equally responsible for the chaos, or is one clearly in the wrong? Should celebrities avoid discussing custody issues online, or do they have a right to tell their stories on their platforms? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below.